The alien station floated quietly in the endless dark of space. It was not an ordinary station. It was built around something ancient, something no one understood. At the very center of the massive steel rings rested a ship unlike any other. It was a craft covered in strange markings that no language could translate. Its surface shimmered like liquid metal, changing colors as if it were alive for centuries. Scholars and warriors from every known race had tried to claim it. They pressed buttons, connected machines, even tried to break inside, but the ship never moved. Never once did it respond to their touch. The aliens called it many names. Some said it was the silent ship. Others whispered it was the sleeping beast. To many, it was a dead relic. But to some, it was a weapon waiting for its true master. That belief was what kept thousands of soldiers stationed around it, guarding it day and night inside the research chamber. Dozens of alien scientists stared at the ship through transparent walls. Their eyes glowed in different colors, their skin scaled, furred, or metallic. Yet they all shared the same look of frustration. No matter what they tried, the ship rejected them. Years wasted. One growled, pounding a claw against the glass. "It is cursed," another hissed. "It was never meant for us." The commander of the station, a tall alien with silver armor, stood with his arms behind his back. His voice was cold as he said, "And yet, we cannot destroy it. We cannot leave it. If another race unlocks its power before us, we are finished." The scientists fell silent. Everyone knew the commander was right. Then the door to the chamber slid open and a human walked in. He was not tall, not powerful, not covered in scales or glowing skin. He was just a man, dressed in a simple pilot's jacket. His boots echoed on the floor as every alien. I turned toward him. Murmurs filled the room. Why is a human here? Ridiculous. He cannot help. Another waste of time. The human ignored the whispers. His eyes were fixed on the ship for a moment. He felt something strange in his chest, a pull, as if the craft was calling to him. The female alien researcher, her skin pale blue with faint glowing veins, stepped forward. She looked at the commander and said, "This is madness. Humans have no special connection to this machine. It will reject him like it rejected all of us." The commander only raised one hand. "We have tried everything else. Let us see if failure wears human skin too." The human walked closer. Step by step, the glass walls parted, and the chamber opened. He stood before the ship, its surface shimmering faintly. He raised his hand slowly, hesitating as the aliens behind him leaned forward. Some eager, some amused, some simply waiting for another disappointment. His fingers brushed against the cold metal, and then the ship moved. A low hum filled the air. Lights rippled across its surface. Ancient markings began to glow as if lit. From deep inside, the ship trembled like a living creature waking from endless sleep. Gasps filled the chamber. Aliens shouted in shock, some stumbling back. "It's alive." It answered him, "Impossible." The human froze, his hands still resting on the controls that had rejected every alien before him. His heart pounded as the ship's surface shifted beneath his palm, forming shapes that looked like handprints. His handprints. The female researcher stared wide-eyed, her voice trembling. It knows him." The commander's cold eyes narrowed. He stepped forward and spoke. "Continue." The human felt the strange pull grow stronger, like the ship was whispering inside his head, urging him forward. His breath came slow. His skin tingled. He pressed his palm firmly against the control panel. The entire chamber shook. Engines deep within the ship roared for the first time in history. Lights flashed across the station. Alarms blared. Soldiers raised their weapons, unsure if the human had awakened a miracle or a monster. But through it all, the ship did not attack. Its focus was only on him. It had chosen for centuries. No one could fly it, no one could awaken it, until now, until the human touched the controls. And as the aliens stared in silence, awe mixing with fear, one truth echoed in every mind. The legend of humanity was only just beginning. Asterisk, the chamber was filled with silence, broken only by the deep hum of the awakened ship. Aliens pressed their faces against the glass, unable to believe what they were seeing. The human stood still, his hand on the glowing surface, his body trembling, but his eyes locked on the strange light spreading under his fingers. The commander raised one clawed hand, signaling the guards to stay back. His silver armor reflected the ship's glow as he stepped closer. His voice was low but sharp. "Do not move away. Human, continue. Make it obey." The human swallowed hard. His heart raced. He had never seen technology like this. The controls seemed alive, shifting like liquid metal, forming patterns around his hand. It felt warm now, almost welcoming, as if it had been waiting just for him. The female researcher could not look away. Her pale blue skin shimmered faintly as the lights from the ship reflected off her. Her voice cracked as she whispered, "How? How is this possible?" The scientists behind her argued. "It must be coincidence." "No, it recognizes him." "Then why humans? Why not us?" The human ignored the voices. He pressed his palm deeper against the surface, and suddenly, the chamber filled with a low vibration. The ship's engines pulsed with energy. Spreading shockwaves through the entire station, alarms blared. Soldiers raised their weapons, unsure if they should protect the human or kill him before the ship destroyed them all. The commander barked an order. "Stand down. We will not fire unless it attacks." The human's breath quickened. The lights inside the ship shifted, spreading across the walls like veins of fire. A hidden doorway slid open, revealing a dark interior filled with glowing lines and strange floating symbols. The chamber beyond looked alive, like the inside of a creature rather than a machine. The female researcher gasped. It opened for him. The commander's eyes narrowed, his voice deepened. "Enter it, human. Show us what lies within." The human hesitated. His instincts screamed danger, but something stronger pulled him forward. It was the same feeling he had when he first saw the ship. A call, a voice without words, a whisper in his mind that said, "Come closer." He stepped inside. The floor lit up beneath his boots. Symbols flared like stars under each step. The interior was vast, larger than it should have been, as if space itself bent inside the ship. The walls pulsed faintly with a heartbeat rhythm. The air was warm and heavy. Every surface seemed alive, shifting, breathing, waiting for him behind the glass. The aliens argued louder, some demanding they pull him out, others whispering that this was destiny. The female researcher pressed her hand against the glass, her voice trembling. "Be careful, human. You do not know what it wants." The human reached the central control chamber. A large seat, carved from shifting metal, rose from the floor. It looked like a throne, yet it adjusted its shape, reshaping itself into something that fit a human body perfectly. Without thinking, he sat down. The chair closed around him gently, wrapping him in glowing patterns that matched his heartbeat. His breath caught as the ship's mind touched his. Visions flooded, his head stars exploding, galaxies forming, alien races rising and falling, battles fought across endless skies. He gasped as he saw flashes of other humans, long ago, touching ships like this one. Ships built for them, ships waiting for their return. His voice shook as he whispered, It knows me." The ship's systems came alive, panels lit up, engines roared. The entire station shook as power surged through it. Windows cracked, alarms screamed. Soldiers shouted in fear. "Shut it down!" one alien roared. "It will kill us all!" cried another. The commander stood tall, refusing to look away. No, this is history. We are witnessing the truth. The human gripped the controls. They molded around his hands like liquid metal, fitting his fingers perfectly. He felt connected. His thoughts became commands, and the ship obeyed instantly. A wave of light rippled outward, shutting down every weapon and machine in the station, leaving only the ship alive. The aliens panicked, screaming as their systems went dark. Only the human sat calm inside, breathing hard but steady. He whispered, "It is not a weapon. It is alive. It is listening." The female researcher pressed her forehead against the glass, her glowing eyes wide with wonder. "It chose you," she whispered. "But why? Why humans?" The ship's voice echoed faintly inside the human's head. Not in words, but in feelings. He understood it without language. It needed him. It had waited centuries for this moment. He turned slowly toward the glass, meeting the alien's eyes. His voice steady now. "It opened to me because it was always meant to." Gasps spread through the chamber. The commander's armor gleamed in the ship's light as he finally spoke, his tone heavy with both awe and fear. "Then the galaxy has changed forever, for no one could fly it." Until the human touched the controls, the station shook as the ship roared to life. The deep sound was unlike any engine known. It was more like the growl of a massive beast rising from endless sleep. Every alien in the chamber stumbled as the vibrations rattled the walls. The glowing lines across the ship pulsed brighter, beating like a giant heart inside the control chamber. The human gripped the shifting controls, his breathing heavy, his hands tingled as the ship's energy coursed through him. He felt every pulse of power, every shift of the ship's body as if it were part of his own flesh. The female researcher's voice cracked through the comm system, her tone full of fear and awe. "Human, can you control it? Do you know what it is doing?" The human shook his head, sweat dripping down his face. "I don't know. It feels alive. It listens to me. But it's more than that. Like it's testing me." Suddenly, sharp lights flared across the ship's hull. Weapons ports opened, glowing with energy. The alarms in the station screamed. Soldiers panicked, raising their rifles and cannons. "It is preparing to attack." One shouted, "Destroy it now." Another roared. The commander raised his arm, his voice sharp. "Hold your fire. If it wanted us dead, we would already be gone." Let the human continue. The ship's weapons aimed, targeting the walls of the station. But then, just as quickly, the lights faded. The cannons powered down. The ship's focus turned inward, pulsing softly again. The human gasped for breath, gripping the controls tighter. "It's showing me what it can do. It wants me to understand its strength." The aliens watching trembled. Some fell silent in respect, while others whispered in fear. No one should have such power. It should be destroyed before it chooses war, but it listens only to him. The female researcher leaned closer to the glass, her glowing eyes fixed on the human, her voice low. "If it trusts him, maybe it is not a weapon of death, but a guardian. Maybe it has been waiting for someone who would not use it for conquest." The commander's silver armor gleamed under the ship's light, his voice heavy. "Or maybe it has been waiting for the most dangerous species of all, humanity." The ship suddenly released another wave of energy. This time, the station's outer shields flickered, struggling against the power. Distant warning lights flashed, as if something outside was responding. "Commander," a soldier cried, "we are picking up signals. Something is approaching from deep space." The female researcher's voice trembled. "Did the awakening send out a call?" The commander's expression darkened. "Prepare the station defenses. If the ship has called others, they will come for it." Inside the control chamber, the human felt it too. His chest tightened as visions filled his mind. He saw shadows of ships in the dark, Alien fleets closing in, drawn by the signal. "Drawn by the beast's awakening," he whispered. "It knows they are coming. It's warning me." The ship shifted again. A new panel rose before him, glowing with symbols. He touched them instinctively, and the ship responded like it was part of him. The engines flared. The entire chamber rattled. For the first time in centuries, the silent ship lifted from its cradle. Gasps and cries filled the research. Bay aliens stumbled back as the massive vessel hovered above the floor, glowing brighter with each passing second. Its hum grew into a roar that filled every corner of the station. "Impossible," one scientist shouted. "It flies," another cried. "It obeys only him," whispered the female researcher. Her voice trembling with awe. The human gritted his teeth as the ship floated higher. He felt his heart racing, his mind linked completely with the craft. It was no longer just a machine. It was an extension of himself. Every thought, every instinct, the ship understood, suddenly. The ship's vision opened to him again. He saw the fleet drawing closer through the void of space. Raiders, scavengers, hunters. They had heard the awakening, and they were coming to claim the beast. The human's chest tightened. He looked out through the glowing glass at the aliens beyond. It's not just awake. It's ready to fight. The commander's face hardened. His voice was sharp. "Then, you will fight with it, human, because if you do not, this station will burn, and with it, us all." The female researcher's eyes met his, her voice almost a plea. "If it must fight, guide it with care. Do not let its power become our end." The ship's engines flared again, and for a moment, the human felt it surge with excitement. Like a predator stretching its wings, he whispered to himself. His voice steady but heavy with fear. Awakening the beast was only the beginning. The station trembled as the raider fleet's signals grew stronger, closing in fast. The aliens prepared their defenses, but everyone knew their hope now rested in one thing: the human and the beast he had brought back to life. And as the silent ship hovered above the chamber, glowing brighter and louder, the truth became clear to all. For centuries, no one could command it, no one could fly it, until now. Until the human touched the controls and awakened the beast. The ship floated in the center of the chamber like a living star. Its glow spread through every corridor of the station. Soldiers and scientists watched in silence, their fear mixing with awe. The human sat in the control seat, his hands still resting on the strange living metal. His breathing was heavy, but his eyes were sharp. He could feel the ship's heartbeat inside him beyond the glass. The aliens whispered to each other. "It obeys him alone. This is too dangerous. No race should hold such power." The commander stood tall, his silver armor reflecting the light. He said nothing. His cold gaze never left the ship. But not all were silent. Among the scientists, voices grew louder. One alien with crimson scales snarled, "This cannot be trusted if the human controls it. Then humanity will rise above us all. They will become masters of the galaxy." Another with 4 glowing eyes hissed, "We should end him now before it is too late." The female researcher, her pale blue skin glowing softly, stepped forward. Her voice was calm but firm. "No, the ship chose him. We must understand why before we act in fear." The crimson-scaled alien pointed a claw at her, his voice sharp. "You defend him because you are blinded by curiosity. But I see the truth. If this ship spreads human influence, it will be our extinction." The chamber grew tense. Soldiers gripped their weapons, torn between their commander's silence and the growing fear in their hearts. Inside the ship, the human could hear faint echoes. Not with his ears, but inside his mind, he felt the ship's emotions, patience, strength, and something else. Something protective. He whispered softly to himself, "It doesn't want destruction. It wants a bond." The female researcher turned toward the commander. her eyes glowing bright. "Sir, the human has not attacked us. He has not abused its power. Look at him." The ship responds to his calm, not his violence. The commander's jaw tightened. He spoke slowly. Or perhaps it waits for the moment when we trust him most, only to strike when we are weakest. The human opened his eyes and looked through the glowing panels at the aliens beyond. His voice steady. "I don't want your war. I don't want your throne. I only answered its call, and now it listens to me."
Yeah.
The crimson-scaled alien slammed, a claw against the glass. His voice rising in anger. "Lies, all lies. He must be removed. The ship must be broken apart before humanity rises above us all." The human clenched his fists around the controls, and the ship reacted instantly, glowing brighter. The walls of the chamber rattled. Every alien froze in sudden fear. The female researcher shouted quickly, "Stop, do not threaten him. Do not push the ship. It mirrors his feelings. Can't you see? It is tied to his heart." The ship calmed slowly as the human breathed deeply. He loosened his grip and whispered, "It feels my fear, my anger, but also my choice." The chamber fell silent again. The commander finally stepped forward, his voice deep and commanding. "Human, the fleet that approaches will test us all. If you can truly control this beast, you must prove it now. But if you betray us, know this: every alien here will burn you before you burn us." The human nodded slowly, his voice calm. "I don't want betrayal. I want survival. I want to know why it chose me." The female researcher looked at him with searching eyes, her voice softer now. "Maybe it is not just you. Maybe it is all of humanity. Perhaps the builders of this ship knew humans long ago. Perhaps they left this craft as a key to your kind." The chamber filled with whispers again. Questions rippled through the aliens. Humans were chosen. Impossible. They are too young a species. Then why does the ship answer only him? The commander lifted his hand, silencing them. "All enough. The truth will reveal itself in battle. The raiders come. And soon we will know if this human is our salvation or our doom." Inside the ship, the human felt the distant tremor of engines. Fleets closing in. His chest tightened, his voice low. "They are almost here. The ship wants me to fight, but it also warns me. It fears being taken by others." The female researcher whispered against the glass, her eyes locked on him. "Then fight not as a master, but as a protector. Prove to us that this ship did not wake a monster, but an ally." The human closed his eyes, feeling the ship's pulse merge with his own. "Heartbeat," he whispered back. "I will try. I have no other choice." The ship's glow brightened. Engines roared again. The silent ship floated higher, no longer a relic, but a living beast ready to face the storm. The aliens watched in fear and doubt, none knowing what the human would become, savior or conqueror. But one truth echoed in all their minds. For centuries, no one could fly it, until the human touched the controls, and now, with doubt in their hearts, they would see where that choice would lead. Asterisk. The alarms rang across the station, red lights flashing in every corridor. The incoming fleet had been spotted. Dozens of hostile ships appeared on the edge of the system. Their signals carried one message: they were here for the silent ship. Panic spread through the station. Soldiers rushed to defense posts. Scientists scrambled to protect their data, and commanders barked orders. Yet everyone knew their weapons were weak. Their shields were old. They could not stand against such numbers. In the center chamber, the silent ship hovered like a beast, ready to strike. Its glow pulsed brighter with each passing second. Inside the control seat, the human sat tall, his hands gripping the living controls. His heart pounded, but his eyes were steady. He could feel the ship's hunger. It wanted to move, to fight, to unleash the power locked within it. the commander's voice echoed across the chamber. "Human, the fleet comes for us. If you are truly chosen, then prove it now. Fly this beast. Defend us." The human's breath trembled. He whispered, "I don't know if I can." The female researcher pressed her hand against the glass. Her glowing eyes fixed on him, her voice soft but urgent. "You can. It listens to you. Trust it. Trust yourself." The human closed his eyes and pressed his palms deeper into the controls. At once, the ship roared like thunder. The walls shook. The docking clamps shattered as the silent ship rose higher. Engines blazing, gasps filled the chamber. Soldiers and scientists stumbled back as the massive craft tore free from its prison. The commander shouted, "Clear the bay. Let him launch." The station's hangar doors opened, revealing the black void of space. Beyond it, the enemy fleet grew closer, dark silhouettes blotting out the stars. The silent ship surged forward, slipping into the endless night. Its engines burned like a second sun. The human gritted his teeth, feeling every pulse of the craft. The ship was not just obeying, it was guiding him, teaching him. The enemy fleet unleashed the first wave. Missiles streaked through space. Plasma bolts cut across the dark. The station's weak shields flared and cracked. The aliens shouted in fear, "We cannot hold." The human slammed his hands onto the controls. The ship responded instantly. A wall of light burst from its hull. The missiles disintegrated before reaching their target. Energy beams curved aside, as if space itself bent to protect him. The aliens inside the station froze in shock. It shields itself. No, it shields us too. It is alive. The human felt the ship's energy flow into him. His mind expanded. His reflexes sharpened. Enemy ships closed in fast, and he didn't think he reacted. The ship spun, dived, and surged with deadly grace. Beams of pure light fired from its wings, cutting raider ships apart in seconds. The enemy screamed across comms, but their voices were lost in the storm. One by one, their ships exploded into fire, debris scattering into the void. The female researcher gasped as she watched the impossible unfold. Her voice shook. "He fights as if he was born with it." The commander's cold eyes narrowed. "No, the ship fights as if it was born for him." The human's grip tightened. Sweat rolled down his brow. His heart pounded with every shot, every maneuver. The ship moved faster than his thoughts, but somehow, it always stayed one step ahead. Suddenly, 3 raider ships broke through. Diving toward the station, their weapons locked, their cannons glowing. If they struck, the station would fall. The human's eyes widened. He shouted, "Not them, not." The station, the ship pulsed in answer. Energy surged through him. He raised his hands, and the silent ship unleashed a wave of pure light. The raider ships froze mid-flight, their systems dead. Then, with a single blast, they shattered into dust. The station shook from the shockwave. Aliens screamed. But when the light cleared, the enemy was gone. Silence followed, broken only by the heavy breathing of those who had just witnessed the impossible. The female researcher pressed closer to the glass, her voice barely a whisper. "He saved us." The crimson-scaled alien snarled, though his voice trembled with fear. "No. He has doomed us. If he can do this, then humans will rise as lords of the galaxy." The commander raised his hand to silence him, his gaze still locked on the glowing ship outside, his voice heavy. "Perhaps. Or perhaps he has given us hope when we had none." Inside the ship, the human slumped in the seat, his body weak, but his spirit strong. The ship hummed gently, almost comfortingly. He could feel its pride, its satisfaction. He whispered, "You fought with me. You didn't just obey. You protected them too." The ship pulsed brighter, as if answering him with a simple truth. They were no longer separate. They were one. The battle was over. The enemy fleet destroyed or scattered. The station saved, but as silence fell across the stars. Every alien who watched knew the truth: a silent ship was no longer silent. It had found its pilot, and with him, a storm was coming. The battlefield was silent. Debris from the destroyed raider fleet drifted across the dark, broken ships, glowing faintly as fire and metal floated into the endless void. The station stood intact, saved from certain destruction. And in the middle of it all, the silent ship hovered, its glow pulsing like the steady breath of a living creature inside. The human sat slumped in the control seat. His body trembled with exhaustion, yet the ship supported him. Its glowing patterns wrapped around him like gentle arms, steadying his mind. His breathing slowed. And with each heartbeat, he felt the ship's warmth flowing back into him. From the station, hundreds of eyes watched in silence, some full of awe, some full of fear, and some full of envy. The female researcher pressed her hand against the glass, her pale blue skin shimmering in the ship's light. Her voice trembled as she whispered, "He saved us. Not just us, he saved everyone." The crimson-scaled alien growled low, his voice sharp with bitterness. "No, do not blind yourself. He did not save us. He showed us his power, and now humanity will rise above us all. This is not salvation, it is domination." The commander stood tall, his silver armor glowing faintly, his face calm, but his eyes hard. Silence without him. We would be dead. You may fear him, but you cannot deny the truth. Inside the ship, the human lifted his head slowly. He whispered, "It's not done. It's showing me something else." The ship's controls shifted under his hands. Symbols formed across the glowing panels. Images filled his mind, maps of stars, unknown systems, forgotten routes through the galaxy, secrets hidden for centuries. His heart raced as the visions poured into him. He gasped, It's giving me knowledge." The ship projected the images into the air above its hull. Every alien in the station saw them: constellations none had charted, paths through dead zones, hidden worlds shining in the void. The scientists gasped, their voices trembling. "These routes are lost to history, worlds we never reached, treasures we never found. This ship carries the memory of ages." The female researcher's eyes widened. It is not only a weapon, it is a library, a guide, a bridge to everything we lost. The human nodded weakly. It doesn't just want to fight. It wants to lead. It wants to connect us. It wants to show us what came before. The commander's cold voice cut through the chamber. And yet, it chose a human to reveal this. Not us. Not any other race. Why? The human looked up. His voice steady now, maybe because humans don't see it as just a tool. We don't see it as a throne. We see it as a chance. The crimson-scaled alien hissed, his claws scraping the floor. Or maybe humans are thieves. Perhaps your kind was always meant to steal what others could not touch. The ship pulsed suddenly, its glow flashing bright. The crimson-scaled alien stumbled back, fear flashing in his eyes. The human narrowed his gaze. "It doesn't like your words. It knows your intent." The female researcher stepped forward, quickly, raising her hands. "Stop this, both of you. Do not twist this moment into hate. This ship brought us knowledge we could not find in lifetimes. That is not theft. That is a gift." The human nodded slowly, his breath heavy. "Yes, a gift to all of us, not just me." The ship's glow softened, projecting more symbols. More visions filled his mind, machines, hidden on forgotten worlds. Great cities buried in ruins. Ancient guardians built to protect the galaxy. The human's chest tightened. He whispered, "It wants us to rebuild, to remember, to become something more." The aliens fell silent. Each of them felt the weight of his words. For centuries, they had fought for power, for dominance, and for survival. But here was a ship older than them all, giving answers not to armies or empires, but to one human. The commander's voice rumbled. If this is true, then humanity holds the key to what was lost. But power like this will bring war. The other races will not accept it. They will come for the ship. They will come for him. The female researchers. Glowing eyes softened, she looked at the human with something close to respect. Then perhaps this is why the ship chose humanity. Because when others see only control, humans see possibility. The human closed his eyes. He could still feel the ship's heartbeat inside his chest. He whispered softly, "It's not just mine, it's ours." But someone had to touch it first. The silent ship pulsed warmly, as if agreeing. Its lights rippled across its hull. Filling the chamber with calm, the aliens stared in silence, their doubts still alive, but their awe stronger than ever. And in that moment, one truth echoed in every heart. The ship was no longer a relic, no longer a silent beast. It was a guide, a guardian, a gift from the past, and the human was the bridge between it and the galaxy. But as the visions faded from the air, the human's voice grew heavy. His eyes darkened as he whispered, "The ship also showed me something else, a shadow coming. Something greater than the raiders. Something ancient, something waiting for us." The chamber grew cold. The aliens shivered, and even the silent ship dimmed, as if bracing for the storm yet to come. The chamber was filled with silence. The visions faded from the air, leaving only the glow of the silent ship. Its pulse slowed, calm yet steady. As if waiting for the next command, the human sat in the control seat, his body weary but his spirit unbroken. His eyes stared ahead, haunted by what he had seen, the shadow rising in the galaxy. Something even the ship feared. The commander's voice broke the silence. Deep and steady, "Human, you saved us. You gave us knowledge, but do not think the galaxy will welcome you. Every empire, every council, every warlord will hear of this. They will come for the ship. They will come for you." The human lifted his head slowly. His voice was calm. "I know, but if they come for me, then they will also face the ship, and it has chosen not to bow to anyone." The female researcher stepped closer, her glowing eyes soft with wonder. "What will you do now? You cannot stay here. The station will become a target. You must decide." The human looked down at the controls, his hands resting on the living metal. He felt the ship's heartbeat answer him. "Warm and steady," he whispered. "It wants me to leave. It wants to show me more. To lead me where the shadows wait." The crimson-scaled alien snarled from the back, his voice sharp with fear. "And what of us? Do we just trust you? Do we kneel before your kind while you carry the power of gods?" The ship pulsed suddenly, bright and fierce. The crimson-scaled alien stumbled back, his voice cracking. "It protects him. It threatens us." The human shook his head, his voice firm. "No. It is not threatening you. It is warning you. It knows your intent. If you choose fear, then you will never understand. This ship doesn't want slaves or rulers. It wants partners. It wants guardians." The female researcher's lips trembled, her voice soft, "And it found one in you." The commander's silver armor gleamed in the glow, his expression hard but respectful. He spoke slowly. "Then go, human, take the ship. Take its secrets. If what you say is true, then you may be the only one who can face what is coming. But know this: if you turn its power against us, the galaxy will unite to destroy you." The human nodded, his voice steady. "I don't want to rule. I don't want to destroy. I just want to understand why it chose me, and I will find out." The silent ship pulsed brighter, as if agreeing. The hangar doors began to open, revealing the vast stars beyond. The female researcher pressed her hand against the glass, her voice trembling as she called out, "Wait, human?" He turned. Meeting her glowing eyes, she whispered, "If the galaxy turns against you, if they call you a monster, remember this, you saved us. You gave us hope. Do not forget that." For a moment, he said nothing. Then he placed his hand against the glowing glass inside the ship. Mirroring hers on the outside, his voice low. "Hope is all I need." The engines roared. The ship rose higher. Its glow filled the chamber. The station trembled as the beast prepared to take flight. Soldiers and scientists pressed against the windows. Watching in awe as the impossible unfolded, the commander raised his head, his voice booming across the bay. "Remember this day, for we saw the beginning of something greater than all of us. The silent ship has chosen, and its legend begins with a human." The ship surged forward, breaking free from the station. The stars stretched around it as its engines carried it faster than light. Within moments, it vanished into the endless dark, leaving only silence behind. Inside, the human leaned back in the control seat. The visions returned, clearer now. Paths of stars, lost civilizations, hidden threats waiting in the shadows. His chest tightened, but his eyes hardened with resolve. He whispered, "We will face it." Together, the ship pulsed warmly, as if answering. Its hum filled the cabin like a song, not of war, but of destiny. And so, the silent ship carried him into the unknown, not as a prisoner, not as a conqueror, but as the first human to awaken its heart. The galaxy would soon learn his name. Some would fear him, some would worship him, and some would try to destroy him. But no one would forget the truth that no alien, no empire, no warlord could fly it, until the human touched the controls. And with that touch, a legend was born.